Are you afraid of catching the coronavirus? Is this messing with your mental health? Would you like to know what to do about it? Stay tuned and find out. Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and mental health educator. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. The title of today's video is The Coronavirus and Your Mental Health. But first, of course, we have to start with a joke. After all, laughter is the best medicine. Well, you know, I used to be in the educational world, and I thought this would be interesting. Did you hear about the teacher who was cross-eyed? She got fired because she couldn't control her pupils. All right, well, getting back to the title of the video. Today is March 25th. Happy birthday, John. Good friend named John's birthday is today. Anyway, it was 11 years ago. Boy, to see, there it is. It was only 11 days ago, but it feels like 11 years that I first posted my video called Depression, Anxiety, and the Coronavirus, when people were just absolutely going bananas with anxiety and fear, buying up all the toilet paper, the market dropping 10,000 points a day. Well, it's 11 days later, and that fear is still here. There's still a lot of stuff going on, so I thought I would take some time to give you an update on what I think is going on. Dorothy said to Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore, right? It's still not the regular world. We're in the new normal. And so what's been going on? Well, I want to talk about two things that perhaps you've been dealing with. One, fear and anxiety. Two, social isolation. Three, disruption of your routines. And four, anxiety about money. So we'll go into those in just a bit. First thing I want to talk about is the fear and anxiety that are around us. They're still here, just like they were 11 days ago. I still can't find toilet paper. As my therapist said, fear has spiked. I was doing a live chat on Sunday, and one of the viewers said, I woke up in the middle of the night with an anxiety attack. Well, there you are, and millions of other people. So what can we do? Well, I go back to what I said last time. My famous mantra, this too shall pass. This is not forever. Actually, as of today, things are starting to calm down a little bit. And, you know, we got through the other two coronaviruses of the 21st century, the MERS and Ebola. We're going to get through this. People are working. We got a lot of smart people all over the world working on this. Second thing you might want to do is take a look at my video called The Fear Behind All Fears and How to Overcome It. And I love that video because it really gets down to the root of the matter, which is the fear behind all fears is the fear of not being able to cope. If you knew that whatever came your way you could handle, you wouldn't be as afraid. So an affirmation you can tell yourself is, whatever comes my way, I can handle it, or I'll handle it. Third thing you can do is, again, don't mean to keep referring to my videos, but I have one called How to Rewire Your Anxious Brain. And there are so many things you can do to work with minimizing anxiety, as I talk about exercise being one, deep breathing, mindfulness meditation, positive affirmations, and even sometimes meditation. So go into your toolbox, use your tools to help with your anxiety. Remember, this is only temporary, and we will be through this sooner than later. The second thing I want to talk about that you're probably dealing with is social isolation. I've always maintained that social connection, social support are integral to mental health. Well, we've had some interference there because all over the world, social distancing and lockdowns are popping up like fireflies on a summer's night. So we can't hang out with each other in person, but we have something else. It's called the telephone. My favorite historical figure is Alexander Graham Bell. I've always loved the phone, and during my last breakdown here in Portland, I spent hours on the phone with the Multnomah County crisis line talking, getting calmed down. They were my lifeline, and fortunately we have crisis lines all over the country and all over the world. Now, today we have something even better. Or in addition to that, we have FaceTime and Google Duo, so we can actually talk to each other and see each other. And whether your grandchild or your son is in Pennsylvania or Australia, it doesn't really matter, right? We can stay connected that way. And if you're a cyclist like me, you can always go cycling with your friends as long as you're 8 feet apart. And my friends are so much faster than I am, they're usually a half a mile ahead of me. The third thing I want to talk about is disruption of routines. All this avoiding of other people, social distancing has disrupted routines. As a matter of fact, on Monday, a day and a half ago, that night, 12 a.m., Kate Brown of Oregon, governor of Oregon, ordered a stay-at-home order. It means you can't leave your house unless it's food, grocery, gas, doctor. Well, the very next morning I was going to pick up sunflower seeds at my local bird shop for my wonderful goldfinches that I love to feed. And they had a sign out there, oh, we closed, can't come in and get your bird seeds. So what am I to do? Well, guess I have to go to Whole Foods and pay twice as much or order on Amazon. The point being is that human beings are incredibly adaptable. Are you kidding me? How have we survived and thrived on this planet? We can live on the North Pole, the South Pole, the equator, whatever. So I can't go to the gym, so I lift my weights at home and jump on the trampoline, right? I can't go cycling with groups of people, but I can do one person 8 feet away. There's all sorts of things we can do to accommodate. Oh, you can't go to the movies, you can watch Netflix. So again, we're adaptable, and we just have to put up with this disruption of routines for the time being. And again, one day it will be lifted. The final challenge I want to talk about that's impacting our mental health, many of us, is anxiety about money. Because of all this social distancing, because we want to flatten the curve, businesses are shutting down, people are being laid off, people are being put out of work. The economy is kind of grinding to a standstill, and a lot of Americans live from paycheck to paycheck. As a result, something like this can threaten your economic survival, especially, your housing. Fortunately, in Oregon, I think, was there a law, not a law, but some sort of motion saying that landlords can't, evict people for 3 months. And actually, people are doing this voluntarily. I have a really good friend who's a landlord himself, and he wrote a specific letter to his clients, and he said, look, I know you may not be working. If so, don't worry, you can pay half the rent for the next 3 months, or if you don't have anything, just forgo the rent for right now. And he said, we're all in this together. If you're taking on an economic loss, I'm willing to do so also. I'm willing to share in your pain. See, that brings out the altruism and generosity of human beings, just like during the Great Depression. So we're all trying to help each other. We've got the Oregon Food Bank here. There are social service agencies. But still, it's really, really scary. Again, if your housing has been threatened. I know I used to be homeless, not a long time, but in my 20s, I was homeless briefly. I've always been afraid of that. It's always been a fear in the back of my mind, even though my brother assures me it won't happen. But yeah, fears are real. And whenever I've been afraid of not having enough, whenever I've been afraid that things were going to run out and I would be left without a place to be, I pick up this prayer. It was not a prayer, it's an affirmation from Mary Baker Eddy, who founded the Church of Christian Science. And some of you might have heard of this. I just love it. It's so simple and it's so reassuring. Divine love always has, divine love always will supply my every need. I'll say that again. Divine love always has, divine love always will supply my every need. I've been up and down my whole life, in and out of crises, suicidal stuff, on the street. My brother says, it's amazing you're still alive. And yet, somehow I've always been provided for. I've always had enough, even if it's barely enough. So divine love always has, divine love always will supply my every need. So you can say that to yourself. And remember, we survived the Great Depression, we survived the polio epidemic, we survived the financial crisis of 2008, 2009. We will survive this. So reassure yourself, this too shall pass. I'm going to get through this, and perhaps with a little help from my friends. To sum it up, I'd like to quote my favorite mystic, 14th century mystic, Julian of Norwich, who said, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, please leave your comments in the comments section. One of my favorite times of day is getting up in the morning, half out of it, and reading your wonderful comments and questions. I do answer every one, believe it or not. So thank you for doing that. Or you can directly email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you would like to subscribe to this channel, which I hope you do, simply click on my photo during the closing credits. You'll be taken to the subscribe page. And if you click on the bell up to the right of the subscribe button, you'll be notified every time I do a new video or a live chat. And if you want to become a monthly sustainer of this channel for as little as $2 a month, click on the image of Patreon. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. We're going to ride this out together. We're going to make it together. And again, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. See you next time.